What is going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. I think we got a pretty spicy video today. Interesting one. Definitely has the comment section of this Facebook group a little bit of argument in there. A little up in arms. So let's get into this. Basically, we have this post on the CGC Comics fans Facebook group where someone is not happy with the purchase they made. So we'll get into this one. Well, I got played bad. It's my fault 100%. I'm a new collector and was eager to find and buy this book at a high grade. When I offered the seller $3,200 and he took it, I was excited and thought I just got a really good deal, but I didn't even notice the label. And he said, I'm an idiot, I know, not sure what to do now. We met in person. It was a smooth deal afterwards. I offered the seller to take back and keep $300, but he refused. What would I be able to get for it? Any advice or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. So this is the book here that this person bought. CGC conserved grade. It looks like a universal. That's the tricky part with these, is that they have the blue background, which kind of looks like universal, but it says conserved. It says conserved on the above the grade. This book specifically has reinforcement and the cover and centerfold and a married cover. So this is Amazing Spider-Man 14, first appearance of Green Goblin. Great Silver Age key. Let's take a quick look over here at the CGC page. This is the cert number for this book. You see married cover, multiple tape stain spine, tear with crease, right top of front cover. And when we look at the notes here, it says cover and centerfold reinforced, cover married. So first of all, we're going to start with, just conservation. Just so people can understand that. There might be some people that aren't familiar with this. Conservation is just a very specific type of restoration, okay? Because there's a lot of misinformation that's in the comment section of this post where people are like, oh, it's conserved, it's not restored, and this kind of stuff. It's like conserved is looked at a little better than restoration, but it's really largely just because of the color of the label. Like conservation is just very specific restoration. If you go over to CGC page, you can see here they have a page that describes all of their different labels. You've got signature labels, universal labels, qualified, restored, conserved, the qualified with signature. It's like this information is out there. Like you should be able to know what you're buying, and they make it very clear. And especially if you're spending $3,000 on something, it's kind of on you to do a little bit of that work. All right, just to understand what you're buying. But let's jump over to conservation repairs. You can see here, conservation repairs are performed with the intent of preserving the structural or chemical integrity of a comic book using professional techniques and materials. It excludes aesthetic repairs such as color touch and piece fill. All conserved grades must satisfy the CGC quality grade of A and a quantity scale of 1. It says tear seals, spine split seals, blah, 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 blah. You can see all these different things. These also can be a purple label if they aren't a quality scale of A and a quantity scale of 1. So they are just very specific types of restoration that get this conserved grade. I will caveat that I've seen, including some books that I own, quantity scale exceeding 1. So this one I feel like is not really followed, but regardless, it's just a specific type of restoration. Now you do tend to get a little bit more of a premium for a conserved book over a restored book. I often see like 60%, but the whole pricing with restored and conserved books, it varies depending on the grade of the book and the age of the book. Like restoration and conservation on silver, bronze, modern, much, much worse than on golden age. And it's because with golden age, you might only have 100 copies of a book out there. And so you can't be as picky. You just, you get what you get. But with silver age, I mean, look at the census for Amazing Spider-Man 14. There's 4,747 universal copies alone graded, not to mention all the ungraded copies. So there are thousands of these books out there. And so you generally don't need to get a restored copy. You can get a universal copy, which is why it does often hurt the value even a little bit more. So regardless, we've got this book that is conserved. This person paid $3,200. In my opinion, they overpaid by a lot. Now, if this had just been something like tear seals or this, reinforcement or whatever on the cover, you'd probably get a little bit closer to that 7.0 value. Because somebody could think like, maybe I can remove that. Maybe I can still get like a 5.0 or a 5.5 and then Universal and pay accordingly. But the cover married, like that's a big deal, especially in the Silver Age. Like cover married is a big deal. And that's going to really hurt the value of that book. Like if we jump to GPA, you can see a 7.0 Universal is last sale 4,000, but when you look in the details of this, it's probably more like a $3,500 to $3,700 book with a few more sales that we see in here, as low as 3,000 last year, 3,100, 3,800. It's probably 35 to 37 in the 7.0. I would say because of that married cover, this book might struggle to hit 1,500. Maybe it gets 17, but I think it might struggle to hit 1,500 if you put it up at auction on like Heritage or Comic Link or Comic Connect. If we go down and kind of look at some other married stuff, we got a married page in 2020 for a 6.0 that went for $900. We had I think there's another one, a married page in a 5.0 that went for $1,500 in the comic boom. So it'd be a lot less now. I think that this book is going to take at least a 50% haircut, if not more than that. So yes, this person overpaid, but, and I've said this all the time, as a buyer, you have no say in what the seller is going to ask for a book. I've said, like, if you don't like a seller's price, just walk away. There's plenty of books out there. Like I just showed on the census, over 4,000 Universal of this book alone, plenty of books out there. If you don't like a price, just walk away. There's no point in arguing or anything like that with a seller on their price. You can make offers. If they don't accept it, fine. This person made an offer and they accepted. So this person had it at 4,000, which was arguably, yes, very high, but still, that was their price. This person made an offer, they accepted, done. I mean, they actually even met in person. Like when you go through here, it's like they met in person. This person held the book in their hands. Like there was nothing hidden on here. So there's nothing about this person getting played. I think that's a very disingenuous statement there because they did not get played. And if you go to the first comment, you can see here, first comment is actually, I'll be honest, I see zero reason you are marking this as getting played. You had the book in hand. You saw the post. You went and met the guy and negotiated. You just didn't do your due diligence. You did this paying high value on something you knew nothing about is on you. You have no reason to post about the other guy. You didn't get played or suckered. He didn't hide anything. And yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. This is one reason why sellers really like graded books. It's because you take all that question out of it. I mean, you can still argue about little things, like, oh, is this really a 7.0 or is it 7.5 or a 6.5 or whatever it might be? But the book very clearly says what it is. It says it's a conserved book, says it's a married cover. And this person went out and bought they're saying they're a new collector, went out and bought a $3,200 book without knowing what they were buying. And yes, if I was selling this book, and I'm saying this now, it's like, who knows how I'd react, if it was in real time. But if I was selling this book and this person came back and they were upset and all that, I would almost certainly take it back. I mean, if it's eBay, you have no choice. Like eBay, they're going to start a return and you are going to lose that return no matter what. So you just accept the return. But this was a in-person sale, friends and family PayPal through Facebook Marketplace. So, I mean, this buyer has no recourse, like none. Like this person could take it back if they want, if they want to be nice about it, but they don't have to. And that person, like, there's nothing they can do about it. Once you're doing friends and family, like, and that's why a lot of these, like Facebook sales groups and all that, like tell you, like, do goods and services, because then at least you have some recourse. Friends and family, you're pretty much out of luck. But, then like gets into this, like person says, he told him he was new collecting, like he was charging double. He should have mentioned something like that. It's like, yeah, like how many cons have I been to, or have you been to, where you see prices on the wall and they're just like insane prices, but sometimes somebody pays them. I mean, I was watching an Instagram sale recently and I saw the prices being asked and I was just like, what is this? Like just huge, like double the market, but sometimes people pay it. Like it's not on the seller. Like he has his price. This person paid it. Like they're not going to be like, oh, I'm charging double FMV. Like that's part of the listing. I don't know. Yeah. And you can see that here, this next comment, his price is his price. No one was buying it as posted, but you jumped on it. Like that's what I'm getting at here is that this is buyer's remorse. The person's upset. And my honest opinion, like once the seller says they don't want to take it back, like you just got to eat it. Like this is your learning experience. It sucks. You probably just lost. I mean, if you take fees out, you probably lost near $2,000. And it is what it is. You know, like you're not going to make that mistake again. You're going to do your due diligence. You're going to learn about the labels. Like you're not having to deal with like a raw book. Like this is a raw book. Like you'd have no idea what was going on. Like what you have to look for with a married cover. You got to look for like staple holes that don't line up, that kind of stuff. I mean, this made it as clear as it could be. And, you know, nobody got played, in my opinion. And this person they just got to learn from this. And yeah, hopefully this doesn't cause them to like leave the hobby, because I know that can happen. People get burned and they just, you know, they get a bad taste in their mouth and they don't want to come back. But I don't see this as a bad seller. I see this as an uninformed buyer that just made a unfortunate purchase. The seller, like I said, probably they could have taken the book back, but they have no obligation to. You know, for all you know, like they already spent the money or you spent it on something else. They can't pay it back. Like maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But I mean, I'm kind of curious, like how this person came about understanding that they made the mistake. You know, like, was it like a day later, a week later, like they showed someone else and someone commented on it and then they realized, like, I have no idea of that time scale. But at some point they realized that they made a incorrect purchase. Now, the other thing I just want to point out, because I saw this and it made me laugh. So it was this statement from the buyer. And I'm not trying to rip on this buyer too much, but this person said, I spend thousands and thousands monthly on comics. If he can make this right, I would be super appreciative and a forever customer. So the only people I have had use that line are ones that never buy again. So that's where, like, I mean, as a seller, I'm sure if there are other sellers out there, you hear people give you this line. You're like, oh, if you give me this deal, you know, I'll absolutely buy from you again. You know, I buy all the time. I've had that line told to me multiple times. And if I'm gonna accept a offer, I'm just accepting the offer based on the price. Like little lines like that, they don't matter to me. They don't work on me. You know, if I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna sell it for the price I want to sell it for. But I just get a kick out of it because I've just noticed that, I mean, I have a lot of repeat buyers, but none of them use that line or used that line. It's always like the one-time buyers that are just trying to like think, you know, they're like, I just want this steal, and they're going to use that line. So I got a kick out of seeing that in there. But hey, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one, because yeah, that conserved label is tricky. I've been on heritage auctions plenty of times, and I'm quickly scanning through books, and I have, been pricing stuff, and I price something as a universal instead of conserved, because you miss it. Like if you're going fast, you can miss that stuff. But with this is like you had to know, like you met in person, you held the book in your hand, like you could see the label notes like right there, like. So that's why it's like, it's not exactly the same, but those conserved labels, like they can trip you up in certain situations. So you just need to make sure you're aware of them, and what they actually mean, because they really are just a very specific type of restoration, but it is a better looking label. And a lot of people just don't like the purple label. So again, let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.